Times are really changing. What is happening to the auto world? Sports cars are making SUVs and now EVs are going all over the place. As a matter of fact, Mercedes-Benz iconic AMG has now taken out the new EQS 530. AMG, electric, well, that is what the world is all about now. Now the EQS is not the first all-electric Mercedes-Benz vehicle in India. That was the EQC, that was an SUV, but this is the first AMG all-electric vehicle. Now Mercedes-Benz has of course tweaked the power, they've tweaked also the suspension setup, so it's obviously sporty, and yes, it has that space age interiors that we're going to talk about. But what are we going to really talk about is it worthy of an AMG badge? Well, let's find out. Now the EQS was first showcased at the Frankfurt Motor Show in 2019, and thankfully a lot of its design elements have been retained by Mercedes-Benz. Now the first and foremost is its sweeping statement that it makes, and why not? Because the EQS is the most aerodynamic vehicle, or rather production vehicle in the world. In terms of design, we're not going to go too much into details. You can see that it has that vertical slats right here. It's all black. It is very shiny, the front grille, and then you can see that it is fairly low slung, but then it has air suspensions as well, so it also makes up for that ground clearance. It takes care of that part as well. And let's just quickly take a look at the side as well. And side is also has a very clean sweeping statement again. It doesn't have any unnecessary character lines, which again shows you that this is going to last for a long time, the design language of EQS. We'll quickly go and take a look at the rear, because there is something very special AMG has added to the EQS. The rear design is something that we mentioned earlier that is special. Why so? In our opinion, because of the swooping nature of this fastback look. And of course, it has the LED projector lights that run across the boot in itself. But the AMG version especially gets this rear spoiler, and that is obviously because of performance and aerodynamics, and hey, it's an AMG, so obviously it'll have these additional goodies as well. What we didn't mention was it comes standard with 21 inch of alloy wheels, and you can upgrade it to 22 inches, but it comes standard also with ceramic disc brakes. So it is an AMG, and of course there is no compromise in performance. So this is what the EQS cabin is all about, and we know that it holds that S brand, but it has nothing to do with retaining the old school charm. Now if you take a look around, it is all space age, and there is of course the massive Hyperscreen, which we will obviously talk about it. But look at the cabin as such. It's got this darkish leather which feels like a Swedish thing, and then you have carbon fiber touches right here. It's beautifully crafted, and of course the ambient light, it can be monotone, it can be dual tone. It's just got so many features. But anyways, let's get back to the Hyperscreen, and it just starts and ends across the dashboard, apart from of course you have the turbine AC vents. Now it's just so overwhelming. The first impression was like, wow, what is this? Well, after the first impressions, of course, let's just talk about the driver console. Starting off with that first, it again has multiple options. You have a button right here on the right hand side, and you just press the home button, and it has around let me just count it quickly, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 different displays. It's got track mode, it's got like super sport mode, classic, and if you just want to ensure that the huge navigation map is not here, which may be distracting for you, you can just transfer it right here and you're sorted. And if you want additional information about the car, speed, anything else, even turn by turn navigation, the head-up display is right there. So you're pretty much sorted. Now this is what we call modern day vehicle. Now you move forward, you have of course lots and lots of options right here. The touchscreen, it is amazing, it really is. You feel like something it's come off from Apple itself. It's that good, so sorry Android guys. But then you move on to the menu itself. Again, there's just so much of information, but very comprehensive and very easy to understand. It's nothing overwhelming as such. And again, you see assistance level is right up there, and it's obviously is going to be so because it's an AMG. So you have all sorts of assistance like distance assistance, driving, steering assistance, collision avoidant options. Then of course your parking options, and you have your 360-degree camera, front camera, rear camera, if you just want your side cameras to be activated. I mean, it's like a mind reader. You want something to happen, there, the options are right there. This is a really sought out and a little bit again overwhelming interiors. Then it just doesn't stop there. The front passenger also gets a display, a touchscreen of their own, and it only gets activated when somebody's sitting there. Otherwise it just stays dull there. There's no additional attention or focus being diverted there. It has all the features that the main touchscreen has, so he or she can just independently handle and control all this while you are cruising, while you are enjoying what the car is all about. Now this car comes equipped with a Burmeister music system and it's packed with 15 speakers. Now we're not going to tell you about the audio system because it is going to be top notch, it is going to be world class, but the more important or the fun aspect of this is that it's an EV and it's an AMG, so it offers that additional roar, which obviously your ICE engines or internal combustion engines produce. Now it's not going to be that crisp, but they have tried to bring that additional element to make the driving experience a lot more involving. So you have these rotary to rotary options right here, features just like the AMG GT, and you just click on them, and the left hand side one gives you an option to pick and choose your suspension setup, drive setup and sound. So we're just going to talk about the sound right now. Suspension and drive setup we'll talk about when we are driving. So you have balanced option as sound, sport option, and the all powerful version. Now it doesn't sound like a V12 or a V10 engine, but then it does make its presence felt. Now practicality wise, it is a 5.3 meter long this vehicle, so it has a lot of space for the passengers, but it also has a lot of usable space like cubby holes. It obviously has a center console here with a lot of space. It comes with a wireless charger and of course your charging options right here, but the center console also has a very deep space right here for your knickknacks, and as it doesn't have a gearbox because it's an EV, there is space right here as well. So these are very practical aspects of this car. So we spoke about how long this car is, so let's see how it translates into the rear. So what do I talk about the space? I mean, there's just so much. I'm not gonna go and show you the knee room or the leg room because you can just see there's so much space. I'm just gonna stretch my legs and relax. Now, as we said earlier, it does hold that S brand, but it's not like an S completely because the S class, comes with those additional lounge seats which provide support to your calf like a first class or a business class airline, but it's still very comfortable. You have obviously electric controlled seats, and they're extremely well crafted. You can see right here, very supportive, extremely comfortable. And the best part here again is that it has that lower back support, which is, I think, the icing on the cake. And if you also want to control the infotainment system or the controls of the car or even your seats, and you don't feel like stretching your fingers towards the door, well, you have a touchscreen right here, and it has an electronic eject button. Wow, talk about class right here. And then you just lift it, and then you go through whatever options you want to go through. Like you've got comfort and you've got car settings. So we'll go through comfort, and you have your seat positioning, seat climate control. You can switch on the air vents also, which I have done right now. They're very, very helpful. It is very humid today, and thank God for the air vents. Sorry, thank Mercedes-Benz for that. And then of course you can control your ambient light if you want to switch on your reading lights, the works. It's all here. It's all in the palm of your hand, and here you go. You can put it back here. You also get wireless phone charger. You just press this metal button right here, open the armrest, and you place your phone. That's it. There's an LED light. It tells you that it's switched on, and there, back to your comfort ride. So this is all class, but it comes with a lot of sporty features. Like the front, it also comes with your carbon fiber touches, all black to add that AMG sporty image. It does not come with the additional LED screens that you see in the S-Class for the rear passengers, but then that's something I'm sure with multiple options you can opt for that as well. All in all, extremely sporty and a comfortable place to be in. Well, I'm not going to go too much into the features because it comes with loads of features, but yeah, it obviously has its own climate control and connectivity features here for the rear passengers as well. So why don't you go to our website Express Drives, and we have done a specific story on the features of the EQS 53 or 53. Take a look, and that should answer all your queries about the features of this car. Welcome to the world of AMG, powered by an all-electric battery. Now, speaking of battery, this one has a massive battery of 400-volt lithium-ion battery, which has 107.8 kilowatt-hour energy. That's a lot of energy there. What does it translate into is 751 bhp with a crazy 1020 Nm of torque. Now that is just insane, and that's the reason why this is an AMG all-electric vehicle. So it does 0 to 100 in 3.4 seconds and has a top speed of 250 kilometers per hour. Now, if you think that it is an electric and doesn't have the AMG grunt, well, you gotta be really surprised with this. See that? That is what it is capable of. It will just knock the socks out of you. Now, if you think electric car is lazy, it's boring, now you got nothing coming. When you have a big battery, that will also mean that it has to come with a charging capacity, and this one has a charging capacity of 200 kilowatt. But the problem is, in India you don't have these charging stations. So Mercedes-Benz themselves, they are going to set up 180 kilowatt power charging stations in selected places. Now, being an AMG, this is a 4Matic and it is an all-wheel drive, and it also comes with various suspension setup, driving modes, and as you mentioned earlier, even sound modes. So what are the different drive modes that you have? Well, in terms of drive mode, you have moderate, you have reduced, you have moderate, then you have sport, then you have the dynamic one. Dynamic one is the one where I just pressed on the accelerator, which just threw me back. So that is dynamic for you. Then in terms of suspension setup, again you have comfort, sport, and sport plus. Now you got to keep in mind that I am actually right now driving on a flat tarmac with very less undulations, but the thing is, the road noise is very much audible, and these undulations you can feel in this suspension setup, the sport plus mode. So if you use the sport suspension setup, then it's a lot more forgiving.
it's a lot more comforting, and it's a lot more ideal for our road conditions. Now, as we mentioned also about the different drive modes, now there is the moderate one, then there's sport, and there's dynamic, of course, and there is a lot of difference in terms of the response, and you can feel it. It's not superficial. It's not like, you know, you have four different fancy options and they don't really make much of a difference. Each and every driving mode makes a lot of difference, and that's the reason why it really offers a very different sort of driving experience. So earlier we mentioned that the EQS is a long vehicle, and being an AMG, it is fully loaded, plus it's an all-wheel drive. Then it also gets two motors, one in the front axle, second in the rear axle. So it's also a heavy vehicle. It weighs around 2.6 tons, but it doesn't feel like an extremely heavy vehicle. In sense, when you're driving, when you're taking corners, when it comes to handling, it feels very nimble, and you'll be surprised to know the turning radius is also very less. It's a very sharp turning radius it has. And the secret sauce behind this is that the AMG version of the EQS comes standard with rear steering axle. Now, what that means is that it enables an angle of up to 9 degrees when it's turning. So it basically cuts down your turning radius, making it feel like a lot more compact vehicle without compromising on comfort, without compromising on your driving experience. Absolutely nothing. It just makes it a lot more easier. It feels nimble as well. So that is a really big takeaway when you're driving this vehicle. Now, we've spoken about the rear wheel steering system. Now, what it does is it makes the car feel a lot more confident, and it enters and exits corner without any hitch. Now, you do feel, of course, the weight, because it is a 2.6 ton car. So yes, the weight can be felt, but that gives it a lot more stabilizing sort of an effect. It doesn't weigh in on you. It doesn't feel like as if you have extra weight to handle. Not at all. So there's a lot of confidence in the handling department as well. And oh yes, of course, we are talking about NEV, so it does offer 3 different levels of regenerative braking recuperation, and you can also drive this vehicle with a single pedal as well. So you have options right there as well. So it has options to be efficient, and it has options to go like a rocket. Either which ways, whatever suits you, in whatever mood that suits you, this car offers everything that you need.
So now we are back to the first question that we asked. Does the EQS justify wearing the AMG badge? Well, believe it or not, yes it does. It has lip-smacking performance, looks, you can see it by yourself, I'm not going to get into that. Features, it is an AMG, it gets the best of the best features possible, and with top performance. There is no compromise on the range itself. So range anxiety gone out of the window. Performance right there. Comfort, spacious cabin, everything it offers. Yes, it is an AMG. It is a first AMG electric car, so obviously it is going to be expensive. It is priced just below the 2.5 crore range. That's an ex-showroom price, but then hell, it is an AMG, all electric, that too. What more can you ask? So if you have not already subscribed our channel, please do so, like and subscribe, and do let us know what you think of the new EQS. Do let us know what you think of the new EV wave that we are facing in India. Thank you so much. Stay safe.